Hello and welcome to Ask Deb About Business. I'm Ron Gayoso, co-host. We are broadcasting via Futures Television, the home of the future on television. If you're watching this show on Futures Television, listen to it on Radio Futures, or listen to it as a podcast or as a recorded event on one of the social media platforms, you too can be part of the conversation. Just visit our YouTube channel, and that is IMCI Magazine, where we continue to chat about the topic of the day. You can also access this information on our website, and that is www.futurestelevision.com. So don't be shy. Today, our topic is the ticket booth to entrepreneurship with NAWBO Chicago. Today is a very special day. We welcome award-winning members and leaders of NAWBO Chicago. NAWBO is the National Association of Women Business Owners. Today, NAWBO boasts 5,000 members and 60 chapters nationwide. It is the only member organization representing women entrepreneurs in all sectors, sizes, and stages of their business development. With 400 members, the Chicago area chapter is the largest NAWBO group in the country. Founded in 1975, NAWBO is the unified voice of America's more than 10 million women-owned businesses, representing the fastest growing segment of the economy. NAWBO is the only dues-based organization representing the interests of all women entrepreneurs across all industries. NAWBO develops programs that help navigate women entrepreneurs through the various stages of their business growth. The organization provides women business owners with leadership, education, and networking opportunities amid the community of fellow women business owners. It also serves as a voice for its members on economic, social, and public policy issues. The organization values and seeks a diverse and inclusive membership, and their goal is to fully represent the diverse makeup of the women business owner community through increased representation within ethnic and minority communities and to expand access to leadership opportunities. Today, we're talking about the ticket booth to entrepreneurship and the journey these NAWBO members have taken, the spark that drove them to the ticket booth, how they overcome the fear of getting on the ride, how they picked up speed, put their hands in the air, and didn't lose their minds, and the track ahead. What's next ride they're buying ticket for? There's a lot to talk about on this topic of entrepreneurship, but worry no more. Now, we'll have someone to talk to. First, let me say a few words about the show. The talk show is broadcast every other Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time, where I join Deb Dietz to discuss a variety of business topics. So no matter what your venture is, you'll certainly have questions. Let me say a few words about our show host, Deb Dietz, before we get started. Deb has a long and distinguished career as a coach, mentor, and through her awesome training programs at SMB Digital Education, she has enabled many entrepreneurs to follow their dreams. And that's what I like about her, her ability to deliver practical advice to help you solve real problems. Deb is a former board member of NAWBO Chicago and a former Member of the Year award winner. So NAWBO Chicago is near and dear to her heart. If you have a business question, well, let's ask Deb. Without further ado, let's welcome Deb Dietz to the show. How are you doing today, Deb?
Hey, Ram. Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm so excited about today's show. This is going to be a wonderful talk.
I'm so excited about this. And I wanted to first welcome everyone to the show. Our show focuses on emerging trends, challenges, and opportunities that face small to mid-sized businesses, business owners, business leaders, business professionals. And we invite subject matter experts on our show, experts on those topics. And my promise to all of you is that by the end of our time together today, you'll have at least one key takeaway that you can implement within your own business. So our show is all about practical advice, practical guidance from these experts. And today, we're so delighted to welcome 4 members of NAWBO Chicago. NAWBO, as Ron mentioned, is the National Association of Women Business Owners. The Chicago chapter is the largest in the country. And our 4 guests today have all gathered at the ticket booth of entrepreneurship. They bought their ticket to get on the roller coaster ride. And today they're going to be sharing their stories, their rides with all of us. And they're going to share what drove them to buy that ticket to get on the roller coaster, how they overcame the fear of getting on that ride, how they handled the anticipation, the unknowns about what was around the corner, the spins, the velocity, the ups, the downs, the upside downs, how they stayed the course and eventually got to the point where they could put their hands in the air and enjoy the ride. And what's next for each of them? What's the next ticket that they're going to be buying at that ticket booth? And we're delighted to have them with us today to share their rides with all of us.
This is going to be a fun discussion. Thank you so very much, Deb. So let me say a few words about today's guest. So today we are welcoming E.G. Finneman, Isoken Ogbomo, Ebony Whitson, and Mary Lawrence. So before we get started, let me introduce the guests and say a few words about them and what they do. So E.G. Finneman currently serves as the National Association of Women Business Owners Chicago Board President, the largest NAWBO chapter in the country. In 2022, she started the Finneman Group, a residential real estate company working out of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Executive Group. Prior to her work in real estate, E.G. was the CEO and founder of Alpha Metals Corporation, a woman-owned non-ferrous commodities corporation that recycles byproduct investment recovery for industrial clients. Isoken Ogbomo is a board-certified family nurse practitioner, a mentor, leader, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist. Isoken has been in the healthcare industry for over 18 years. Her career began as a certified nursing assistant, working her way to become a board-certified family nurse practitioner in 2017. She has held several leadership positions, both in the healthcare industry as a nurse leader and in her community of faith. Isoken is a nurse entrepreneur. She's the CEO and president of Complete Health Services, Inc., and In-Home Caregivers of Illinois, a senior care agency that serves retired executives, busy professionals, or adult family caregivers, and employers who have caregiving employees. Her unique program helps seniors to age in place while helping families and employers manage the stress of family caregiving. Ebony Whitson is the owner and creative designer at Whitson Wonder Productions in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. Whitson Wonder Productions is a full-service event planning and design company that was born for a family wedding many years ago. Ebony has a passion for creating unforgettable experiences and spent the following years designing events for family and friends. From humble beginnings in a basement to a 10 by 10 store space, Ebony's company secured its first office in 2020. With more hard work and dedication, Ebony expanded the showroom to 3 offices in 2021. In 2022, Whitson Wonder Productions proudly opened its full-service venue, the elegant luxury event venue. Ebony hopes to inspire others to take chances and follow their dreams. Ebony is this year's award recipient of the NAWBO Young Entrepreneur of the Year. How wonderful! Congratulations, Ebony. So wonderful to see you here. Mary Lawrence joined Rich's Graphic Communications in 1990. Following the footsteps of her grandmother, Mary is the second woman in the family to run the business. Today, the 98-year-old company is an industry leader in offering digital and offset printing, high-trust secure mailing, and logistics. Mary is also board chair of Magdalene House Chicago, a home for women survivors of sex trafficking. Mary is the 2021 Women in Print Illinois Leadership Award winner and this year's award recipient of the NAWBO Women Business Owner of the Year. How wonderful to have you all here. So congratulations to all of you and welcome to Ask Deb About Business.
Hello, ladies. It's so nice to have you with us today. We're so excited to have you all share your entrepreneurial journey with us and with our audience. But you know, as entrepreneurs, we all had to start somewhere, right? So I wanted to start our discussion with all of you about what was that one thing or what was that spark that made you think that this was something that you wanted to do. Where did the idea come from to embark on entrepreneurship? We've got so many new entrepreneurs, millions of them that have joined the ranks of business ownership over the last couple of years. And I'm always so intrigued by their journeys and how they started. And we've got a lot of folks that watch our show who are young people, who are really young professionals, even high school and college students, who may be thinking that maybe owning a business is something that might be in their path. And so we love to kind of take the wisdom of those that have gone before and share it with our audience so that they can kind of have an understanding of how you began and what was that one thing, or maybe it was more than one thing that led you down the path. So Edie, I'm going to start with you and ask you to share your story with our audience. Tell us a little bit about you, your business, and the spark that started it all for you.
So I've traveled the full circle of entrepreneurship, from starting a business, which I was in a unique industry. I was in scrap metal, business, commercial scrap metal, so buying from factories. And I started my business in 2004 on my own money, because the bank wouldn't give me a loan because I didn't have a good business plan. And I had already been doing this for years. So I was already having trucks delivered. And over the course of those 18 years, the company expanded and contracted and expanded and contracted. It's very commodity oriented. So on its large side, it did go up to 22 employees and about $12 million in sales. And on its small side, it was 6 people and, smaller. But I did sell it in May of last year. So thank you. So I've opened up a new chapter, which is residential real estate, and building up a real estate portfolio and getting some passive income that way, and working hand in hand with my husband too, which is going to be fun and exciting. So I'm at a whole new chapter. But what I would say to your younger audience members out there in particular is I spent a lot of years working for somebody. I didn't open up my company until I was 39 years old. So if you have the expertise and the knowledge and the passion, you should start your business younger rather than later, because you just should. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. And so you've been at the ticket booth twice. So your second company, and thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that advice to our young people. And the thing I love about organizations like NAWBO is, that you don't have to do this alone. That there are resources available, organizations like NAWBO, to kind of find your community and find your support network. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm going to ask Isakin to go next. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and the spark that started it all for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deb, and thank you for having me here. So my name is Isakin Obomo, and our company is called Complete Health Services. I personally moved to the United States about 22 years ago, and I came with a 7-month-old daughter and a husband, and just wanted to start life and see what is in what is next for us. So just went to the path of healthcare, which was my core, what I really wanted to do, because that was not what I was doing in Nigeria. So when I gone through that path, I began to fall more in love with it, and I have stayed that path since moving here. So our company, what it does is we provide services for families, busy professionals, to help their loved ones to age in place. So what was the spark for me? I was working for different companies. I've worked in many hospitals, and there was just some restlessness in me because I really know that I wanted to be more and do more.
Mhm.
I was looking for resources and information. I knew there was a next level, there was a next stage for me. I knew God was working in my heart for something, but I just did not know what to do next. So I attended a nurse entrepreneur conference, and someone asked me, "Do you want to go to this conference?" And I said, "Sure." So I went to the conference, and that was the spark for me. Just met a lot of nurses who were doing what I really wanted to do. Didn't even know that stuff like that existed, and that's how our journey started. And it has not been looked. This I have not looked back since then. So that was my spark. My spark was putting myself in the environment of
Right.
people who are already in the journey of entrepreneur.
There
And
you go. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And in finding, you found your community, right? And that triggered something, your passion. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Ebony, I'm going to ask you the same question about the beginning of your journey. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what was it that drove you to kind of hang out your own shingle?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on today. It's just a very privileged to be able to share why I got that ticket to that ride, which is the roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship. So I left my job, left the corporate world about, I'd say 9 years ago, and not realizing that what I do was already a part of me. I'd love to get people together. I love to plan things, let's organize something, let's hang out, let's have an itinerary, let's do something. And after I left my corporate job, I didn't have anywhere to really do that, and so I was given the opportunity to assist my brother with his wedding when he was missing a few details, missing a coordinator, missing a whole entire decor. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I kind of I jumped right in and took the shot. And it really paid off. We got so many compliments after that. And so what lit the spark was my husband. I call him the king of monetization because he's like, okay, you're doing this. How are you going to make money? And I'm like, I've never thought about making money from this. And so we put some things in motion. And that's how Wits and Winter Productions was born. And so today we are a full service event production company, and we specialize in custom design and custom decor. And now we have our first of many full service event venues. So.
Wow. Congratulations. That's so amazing. And don't you love it when your passion and your idea you can monetize it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's wonderful. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to ask Mary to kind of share a little bit about herself. And I love, Mary, Mary has a legacy company. She's a long tenured organization started by your grandmother. So Mary, tell us about your business. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do and why you decided to kind of follow in your grandmother's footsteps.
Sure. Thanks, Deb. And nice to be on the panel as well. Because I was thinking about that. My journey is different than the other women on the panel. But there was still a spark. So I had joined the company in 1990, but we had gotten to about 2005. We'd been in business for about 80 years, and we're a commercial printer. So people were predicting the end of printing. Everything was going to go onto the internet. We didn't really have a very good value proposition. And so that was when I kind of reached down and talked to my husband and ended up buying out my dad and one brother to become the primary business owner. And from there, just kind of brought a different energy to the company. We revamped our product line, who we were selling to and why we were selling to them. I went through the Goldman Sachs program. So I think that you need a lot of sparks to be an entrepreneur. It's not just one and done. And you can kind of listen to each story where it's a cycle. And we have followed a similar path. So you need to kind of reinvent as you go. There's definitely an initial spark that puts you into that roller coaster, as you say, that you can never let go of. It just is, I love it.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that. Again, when I saw that, 90 plus years, I thought, wow, talk about a legacy. here, and that now, the leadership role that you're playing, so critically important. And so thank you for sharing that with us. And, another part of our journey as entrepreneurs, I started my company about 9 years ago, and it's, it looks a lot different now than it did then. But one of the things that I think and sometimes we talk on our show about, being an entrepreneur, that, there's fear that comes with that, the fear of the unknown, right? That you're, embarking on something new and different, and that could be scary at times. But somehow we have to find our way through that in order to move forward. And so, Edie, I'm going to come back to you and ask about, on your journey, and now you're on your second journey, how did you overcome some of maybe the lack of confidence, or if you experienced that, the fear of stepping into an environment that was unfamiliar? And what were some of the things that maybe that you did that you could share with our audience that helped you kind of, take care of yourself as you're going through that?
One of the things I did right when I started my business, which I think the seed to plant my business started many years before, but my husband at the time was very risk adverse and was like, you have a great job, you make good money. And I was like, but I want more, I want to do more things. That spark was truly a part of it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I was just trying, were there things that you did that, maybe when it came to self-care, or how you kind of took care of yourself?
I was terrible because I had young children and and aging parents and a brother who is handicapped. So I would have written the book on what not to do, to take care of yourself. So I would now say to everyone out there listening, it's very important that you put yourself first and that self-care first, because then you can take better care of everybody else. But I also come from a different generation than I think, some of the other panelists, and there, that time just wasn't there. But I would also like to remind the audience that NAWBO's big luncheon, where Mary Lawrence and Ebony Winston will be recognized for their awards this year, and that is on the 27th of this month in Oak Brook. And if you want more information, we can put it in the chat, I think.
Absolutely. And I know Ram is going to pull up your the ad for the event here in a minute, and with the registration link. So we'll have that, and he'll also put that in the comments, so everybody will have the ability to find that information and go ahead and register. So thank you. Thank you for sharing, again, about self-care, put your oxygen mask on first before others. And it's harder for some than others to do that. So thank you for sharing with that. Isakan, I'm going to ask you the same question. What was it how did you get through some of the uncertainty and just, the fear that, maybe, we're comfortable with the known, but we're uncomfortable with the unknown. So what did you do to help yourself move forward and get past that?
So that is such an important question. And first of all, kudos to Ebony and Mary for your award. That is amazing. I'm sure you've overcome a lot of fears to get to where you are today. For me, I remember specifically when I resigned from my full-time job and went into business full-time. That first morning, I opened my eyes, and an overwhelming fear of panic attacks and anxiety, everything, all of the emotions you can think about, negative emotions you can think about, just came upon me. Like, what are you thinking of? What are you doing? Are you crazy? Do you think this is a joke? You have no clock in, no job to clock in. You're not going anywhere today. What is wrong with you? I was so overwhelmed with fear that I just crippled in bed and cried. Like, why am I doing this? And I had to remind myself of my why. I wanted to I wanted a good foundation for my children. As a first generation immigrant, I wanted to have a good foundation for my children. I wanted them to see a good example of what it means to work hard. And so I remember just crying and praying and praying. And then when I finally got over myself, I had a coach. So one of the ways that helped me to overcome fear was to get a coach. And through coaching, I started building up my courage to keep going, to just keep going. Another thing I learned in the journey of and how to overcome fear is to just continue to visualize your future self. And the first time I heard that, I was like, what is that? I have never thought of what my future self looked like. So I started having a vision of what I wanted to look like, what my company was going to look like. And that vision helped me stay on course. So every morning when I'm challenged with fear, I close my eyes and look at my future self.
Wow.
I talk to my future self. I look at my companies. I see my employees. I see them. And I just get up and just keep going. So it's
So
been
I love that. So, thank you for sharing that. Again, it's kind of, I do strategic planning for a living. So, one of the starting points, we always ask folks our clients to envision, their future, what their future looks like, what they are hoping to accomplish, what they aspire to become, right, for their business and for themselves. And so I think that's a great reminder to think about, and to direct your attention away from the fear to what you are looking to aspire to become. And that kind of grounds you. So thank you so much for sharing that. Ebony, same question. How, leading, and many of us have left the very comfortable, secure places of the corporate world, myself included, many, many years of living, well and comfortably. And now all of a sudden, those paychecks aren't coming. So tell us a little bit about your overcoming the fear that you experienced in your journey.
Well, first you have to know, like, being an entrepreneur is going against the norm. So we're taught that you're supposed to report to a 9 to 5. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you, and that you won't make it. But we're learning now that the 9 to 5 isn't any more secure than being an entrepreneur. So you might as well go for it. And I really just think that there's always going to be fear, especially when you're going to different heights in your business. You're always going to have some sort of like anxiety, like, am I doing the right thing? Because I feel like we're so trained that anything outside of, what we've seen, it may not work, or it may not happen. But one thing that has helped is connecting with great mentors. I didn't have that at first. And so now I have someone to call, and I have someone to go, okay, am I doing the right thing? You've been where I am. What does this look like? Does it look like, the right things are in place and it's going to happen, or should I make a different turn? Having someone to call on has really been a game changer. It doesn't change the emotional, that I feel, but it does give me some peace of mind knowing that I have someone to connect to. I'm also a 10K SB grad as of last Friday. So that program is amazing, and it really will give you some groundwork, as being an entrepreneur. So I highly recommend, being involved in that, and anything in your area that will give you the tools that you need. And also, this is a faith walk, and you have to believe, you have to have faith, because you don't see that, like you said, the 9 to 5, the check to check. You may not always see the outcome. I get so much money in like a 90 period of day, 90 days. I make a lot of money, and then I may not make any more money for like 2 months. And so you got to learn how to balance and know that it's still good. It's just this is just another wave. And then we get back, and all of a sudden we have a huge contract, so it doesn't come the same way that you're used to, but you got to really, just keep believing that it's going to keep working as long as you keep moving forward.
And I think I love that. So, having faith in yourself, right? And believing that you've got the capabilities and the fortitude and the skills in order to believe in yourself and ultimately be successful. So, and having a support network too, and people to talk to, your community. That's why I love organization. I love NAWBO because they were my community when I started, and I was, I left that corporate world myself and found myself to be incredibly isolated. I went from, having a lot of people around me, working every day, talking to a lot of people to, Isa can, comment, what am I, oh my goodness, where are my people? Where's my, who am I going to talk to today? So it can be very daunting. And so, but believing in your capabilities and knowing that you can do this, I think is really, really important. So thank you for sharing that with us. And Mary, same question to you about, overcoming fear. You stepped in to, an organization to take the helm, become the leader of the organization. Did you tell us about, your abilities to overcome some of your maybe limited beliefs or self-doubts?
Sure. So my fear kind of went into two different categories. I had the industry that I was in was predominantly male. Often I would go to events. I would be the only woman. When I was taking courses at Rochester, New York, I would be the only woman in the class. And that was kind of daunting. I think we were at that time just happy to be in the room, happy to be invited. We didn't have the advantages that the women do today. So I think in some ways it was lighter. It was fun. We just rode with it. You were the only woman and you just went with it. On the client side, I was very nervous about selling to clients. And again, I had the benefit of my dad being my mentor. He helped me on the industry side and he also helped me on the client side. He would say that they need you as much as you need them. You're providing a service and consulting and really put a framework around it. And he said to enjoy every day. So I feel like there were times when you were afraid, but you kind of put it in perspective that you would be okay and you had the tools to succeed.
That's it. You had the tools to succeed, and believed in yourself. And so thank you so much for that. And I think for all of us, you get to a point, I think, where you're sprinting, you're looking to sprint forward, and you feel, and you kind of shift from maybe being fearful or questioning yourself to really starting to enjoy it. And that the metaphor about being on the roller coaster ride and putting your hands in the air, that you shift. I know I shifted from, not the drudgery of the day to day, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really starting to gain momentum. My business is growing. I'm starting to scale, and I feel it. I'm actually physically feeling it. And so now, I'm curious for all of you, Edie, I'll ask you first, when you got to the point, where you were really starting to enjoy it, you were, you could put your hands in the air and go, okay, all my efforts to date are now, I'm seeing success. I'm seeing my vision materialize. How did you do that? How did you get to that place where you're able to actually say, hey, I'm enjoying this. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm even more energized now than I was before. Share that with us.
So again, I didn't have that fortune because a lot of my industry is tied to commodity prices, which is a global economics, and based on a lot of forecasting and stuff like that. So it felt like I would get to the top of the roller coaster, before it dives down. And so I would have those intermittent periods where I could put my hands up and go, I'm there. And then something would happen in the world or whatever, and it would take copper and aluminum prices, tumbling down, or the printing industry for newspapers. Mary can speak more on that. I closed 12 newspapers in 2012, I believe. But I would just like to say to your audience from the previous question that anytime you take a risk or a chance or put your name on the line, there's going to be universally true, a certain amount of fear. I mean, if it doesn't scare you, you're not taking a risk.
That's a great point. doesn't scare you. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Ken, how about you? So are you at the point right now where your hands are in the air or not quite yet?
Like you just said, it goes up in the air and then it comes right back down after some time. And you pick it back up in
That's
the
the
air.
roller coaster, right?
Well, first of all, I like to start. I always had to reflect and look at, reflect on my journey so far. I remember the very first day this was during the pandemic. So I had my first employer. We had to do an interview on Zoom versus in person. And after the interview, I was supposed to meet on a sunny day because she was supposed to start work the following day. So I came into the office to wait for her, and she was a no call, no show. And I'm in the office all by myself. And I just sat there in that conference room and I just wept and I just sobbed. And I said, is this going to work out? What is this? Like, somebody's waiting for this service, and now who's supposed to do this service is a no call, no show. And I can't get hold of her. So that was my first shock, right? Reality. So, look at that now and look at where we are now. And I've been going through over 300 employees in and out. If I had not stayed the course, I wouldn't see that the story almost make it feel like there's no hope. But a disappointment never means that there is no hope. Setbacks never mean there's nothing ahead of you. And that's why that visualization always has to be there. You have to keep seeing what it looks like in the future, because that's what will keep you going. So I really say to keep the momentum, just keep showing up. I learned this, just do your part. Do your part, keep showing up. When you do your part and keep showing up, the results will start flowing in.
I love that. And take it day by day. You're either going to be days where you're going to be up, and there are going to be days where you're going to be down. And as long as you keep I love that. And so as long as you can keep that in the forefront of your mind, that tomorrow's another day. Maybe today something happened in the economy that's hitting me, but maybe tomorrow will be better. And so show up and keep going, and don't be disheartened too.
Yeah.
Right?
Even if you're disheartened, get over it and show up the next day.
Show up the next day. So Ebony, same question to you. So are your hands in the air right now?
Well, so
are you enjoying the ride?
The less I knew about being in business, the more my hands were up, and the more I started to know what I needed to do and what needed to be in place, my hands kind of came down. I was like, oh, so was that reality check? Like, ma'am, you're not really operating a full business yet. You need this, 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 and this. And I'm like, oh. So, but then getting those things in place, and now it's like, oh, okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Now
so the hands kind of go back up, So now, and I'm like, or I might wave from side to side, just a little bit. I'm not all the way secure in putting both of them up, but seeing it grow and become something has really just been amazing to watch. And so that's the reassurance that I have that keeps me saying, it's like, this is actually really becoming something bigger than I thought it was ever going to be. And so now when my hands go up, it's such a different feeling. It's not like, oh, yay, I'm doing something. It's like, oh my gosh, we're making a difference. We're impacting our community. We're employing other women and, or other men. And it's like, this is a different feeling. And so that makes you put your hands in the air, and it's more of a gratitude at that point, not even just to have fun, but like, I'm just so thankful to be where I'm at.
I love that. You spoke, you said something here about the impact that you're having, and that when you feel the rewards of your efforts, that, you've gone on, Goldman Sachs program, great education there to get some of those the foundational, management leadership types of skills, and then to be able to employ those skills and have a great impact in your industry, in your community, is very, very rewarding. And that just provides more fuel, right, to keep going. So Mary, I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you in a place right now where your hands are in the air and you're picking up speed in your business?
So I would definitely say yes, but the superstitious person in me would say knock on wood when you do it, because, every day is a day. So I have something that pops up in my calendar once a week, and it says never declare success. And so it's a reminder to me, don't rest on those laurels. be strategic. We knew early on that we had too much of our client base relied on only two clients were 80% of our business. So
Okay.
we knew that we needed to diversify our clients across that industry and then spread out into other industries. We also knew we wanted to do multi-year contracts, and that's helped a lot. And I've also put the 4th generation of leaders in place. So
Oh, perfect.
there are things
Awesome.
to lower your risk, but I think you always have to be alert, and you never have to say like, I'm done, I'm good, because that's when trouble starts to happen.
I love this. So don't get too comfortable. Right? I just appreciate the moment and the wins as they come, and keep your eye moving forward and maintain your focus. So thank you so much for that. And one final question I want to ask all of you is, okay, you got off the roller coaster ride, and okay, ups and downs, and you navigated your way through. So now you're back in the amusement park and you're walking around. What's the next ride that you're thinking about getting on? What's next for you? Edie, I'm going to start with you because you may already be on that next ride. Moving into real estate. So is that a fair statement for you?
Oh, most
You're on the
definitely. I mean, I still have some minor obligations to my former industry, but I spend about 95% of my time on developing relationships in the residential real estate market and looking for wholesale properties that I can flip with my husband. So, or that I want to rent. But it's all new and fun and exciting and until I have to write the check.
Exactly.
and then it becomes very real. I just, life should be one tremendous roller coaster, unfortunately, of the good and the bad and everything like that. So it's nice that I have this opportunity to have another chapter and do something else.
Wonderful.
There used to be 400 companies 25 years ago doing scrap. There was 40, but my exit made 39 for the Chicagoland market.
Wow.
So it was a contracting industry, and I'm lucky and thankful that I got out when I did. And with the resources. So, to those young people, you can get started out there, and 10KSB and NAWBO are great resources to kind of find out like, oh, I needed this, I needed that. If you're in a growth mode, you need all those things.
Wonderful.
And quality people. So
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And congratulations on your new venture. And it's so exciting. And I appreciate you sharing, your story with us. Isa, I'm going to ask you the same thing about, what's next for you and where do you go? Where do you go from here?
So we're still in the ride and not off the ride yet. We just want to continue growing. We want to scale into other cities and states and increase our services in terms of what we offer. So there's still a lot of growing to do, and we're just getting information, gathering information, reading and exploring, and just be getting prepared to scale on to go on a larger scale. I see it as it becoming eventually a family business. I want my kids to be able to take it and keep moving with it. And if they choose not to, eventually they would make that decision there. But we're just my hope and faith is in my God, and if it says it's time to jump off the ride, then we'll jump off the ride. If not, time we'll keep riding.
But I love it. So you're looking to build a legacy business yourself. So you're with your family members and your young family members, which I love. And so thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing your journey. Ebony, same question. What's your path forward? What's the next step for you in your business?
Well, going through 10K SB taught me about having a good exit plan, because before I thought I had to hold on to it forever. And they said, we'd like to think that we could live to 90 and still function in our businesses, but we can't. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. And so listening to Edie's story, it's like, you can sell it, you can still do something else. And so we developed our exit plan, and we're looking forward to building it to where we can make it, go public. And then that will allow us the freedom to, travel and be together and do some other things that we want to do as far as outreach in the community. So it's nice to know that it's going to be in good hands once we leave, because and leaving that opportunity for our children to be a part of it. Right now, they say they don't want it. And just leaving something, leaving an impact and allowing it, leaving it to where it can grow well beyond our years. And, but also giving us the freedom to, live out the rest of our lives how we want to.
There you go. And have the flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
So that's wonderful. So thank you for sharing that. And then Mary, back to you about what the future looks like for you in your business.
Yep. So I've got one more push in me, and we were up 25% over last year. And I feel like we're off to a better start. Our first quarter was higher than our first quarter last year. So we're going to continue to grow. We've got some new equipment. We've become High Trust certified. So we have new services for our clients. So I feel very strongly about getting everything in place before I leave. And when I leave, I would like to work in a nonprofit area. As Ron, I'm on the board of Magdalene House Chicago, helping women survivors of sex trafficking. So maybe rather than being in a board position, maybe doing a little direct service with the women.
Okay.
But I think you have to let a little serendipity come into your life too, and try some different things and see where life takes you.
Yeah.
There you go. I think that's, and be open to that, right? To be open to the next chapter, and, and tap into those things that, that drive you, that you're passionate about. And maybe while you're working hard on the day-to-day, to find some time so that you can explore maybe some new paths that you might want to take. So I wanted to thank, all you, ladies, for your incredible sharing of your stories. Where, our audience, we have so many entrepreneurs, business owners, business leaders. We have a lot of folks in our audience that are working, the 9-to-5 job, who, are testing the waters. They want to know about the journeys people take, and, some pitfalls to avoid lessons learned by others. And it's really wonderful that you were also willing to be here today to kind of pay that forward, to kind of, shed some light on what, what that looks like, what that could look like for others. And again, because, I just started my second business, and, online education business, where we're educating high school and college students about business, about entrepreneurship, about financial literacy, life skills, and the ability for these young people to tap into the arsenal, and I call it an arsenal of experts, subject matter experts, in your field, who are so willing and gracious in sharing your stories and your journeys with others, so that they can learn and have kind of a maybe they'll find maybe a seed will be planted. And that's what I love about the show that Ram and I do together, is that by having wonderful guests like all of you come in, and what you share, maybe there's a seed that you're planting with someone somewhere in the world, and I never thought about that for myself, or I never, maybe there's an opportunity for me, or maybe I should, plan better, or think about my vision of what do I want to aspire to become, and have that be my touchstone to help me eventually get there. So the lessons that you're sharing, this is real life. These are, and I think I read an article not long ago that said that, colleges and universities are preparing their students to be a worker, not to be an owner, not to be a business owner. And so, that kind of really just hit home with me. And I thought, that's a really interesting comment. So having a forum like this, where you're sharing, what it means to be a business owner, like for real, is, again, very gracious of all of you. Thank you so much for your contributions here today. And Ram, I'm going to turn it back to you because I know we're going to talk a little bit about upcoming NAWBO's event next week.
Yeah, so we want to go back to Edie for just a moment. So would you like to share some information about the NAWBO Chicago's 40th Annual Celebration of Achievement Conference? I think it's the Power to Drive, and it's going to
Yes.
be on April the 27th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Oak Brook, right? How do I get there?
Well, you need to go onto NAWBO Chicago. There will be a link to the conference, which is all day. It starts off with various breakout sessions. So if you're looking for capital or you want to know something about human resources, there'll be a variety of topics. And there's typically 2 sessions in the morning, and then we get together for our lunch, which our keynote speaker this year is fabulous. Her name is Precious Williams, and she's known as the Pitch Master. She's been on Shark Tank. She started several companies. I think she owns 2 clothing companies. And she has 3 best-selling books on Amazon, which she will be selling autographing and selling at the conference. There will be an exhibition hall. There'll be sessions in the afternoon, and then we will reconvene for our famous chocolate and cocktail hours. And that's a great time to network and really get the opportunity to meet other business owners and create your a group of friendships that are a great support system.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Exciting event. So for those of you that are in the Chicagoland area, go on NAWBO Chicago's website. And I know that it'll be a very meaningful day, a day well spent, and you get to connect with all these wonderful NAWBO members and award winners. So please do so.
And to all the folks listening to us, thank you so very much for joining us today. We hope you learned something new about the ticket booth to entrepreneurship with our NAWBO Chicago guests. And don't forget to register for our free online conference in May, VC Latinx, where Elizabeth Colon, the past president of NAWBO Chicago, is our keynote speaker in both Spanish and in English. And don't forget to visit NAWBO Chicago's booth in the exhibit hall to get information about membership, events, resources, and their advocacy efforts. Please share your comments with us and let us know what your key takeaways from today's show was. And let us know where you're watching us from. So again, Edie, Isoken, Ebony, and Mary, before we sign off today, how can people find you if they would like to connect?
Who wants to go first?
I guess I've been going first all along. I'll stick with that.
People find you.
So if you see my name, it's my first initial. It's E. Fieneman at exec, EXEC group, GRP.com. Or call me at 312-371-3939. And I do sell property in the Northwest Indiana region and parts of Illinois.
Wonderful. Thank you. Isaken?
Yes. My company website is www.in-homecaregivers.com. And my email is my first initial and a full last name at in-homecaregivers.com. Our office is located in Bolingbrook, and our number is 630-300-0446. And you can find us on Facebook, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ebony?
Our company website address is whitsonwonderproductions.com. Our email is info@whitsonwonderproductions.com. We are located in Wisconsin, but we travel worldwide. So we'll come to wherever you are. You can give us a call, 262-290-5314. And we do a free consultation for your event planning or event proposal if you have a design, aspect that you'd like to run by us. We give you a free 30-minute consultation, and then we kind of take it from there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ebony. And Mary, how can people locate you?
They can find us at rgcnet.com. If you'd like to reach me directly, my email is maryl@rgcnet.com, and my number is 708-731-2103.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for contributing today and being here and sharing your wisdom and your advice and your stories with all of us. We're inspired by all of you, and thank you again. And we'll have you come back, because that's what we do on our show. We invite our guests back, and we sometimes pick a topic and we do a deeper dive. And so we would love to have you all come back for that conversation. So thank you again.
Thank
So
you.
you are in Chicago, but now you have a worldwide audience. And thank you, Basir, he's greeting you from Istanbul, Turkey. And what an awesome session this was. And again, I couldn't say better than he did. Thank you, Basir. Indeed, what a wonderful session. And it's just lovely to see the work that you do. You're truly inspiring. And folks, don't forget to go visit NAWBO's website. NAWBO is you think about it as a women's organization, but it's an organization that promotes inclusiveness at all levels. So NAWBO is an association that we all should be paying attention to, promoting, sharing, joining, and making sure that we share that message. Again, folks, thank you so very much, and we hope to see you again in another edition of Ask Deb About Business. See you next time.
Bye.